Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to preview Pain Gaming, go over their roster a bit as they head to Worlds 2024 representing Brazil in the last season of CBLOL, LCS and CBLOL combining next year. I imagine Pain will be one of the teams that does move on in that given their history, etc., relative to the other teams in the region. But regardless, Payne have been to Worlds prior. 2015, they finished 12th, 13th. I believe they were able to get to group stage in that one. Now, this roster has a mixed bag of experience internationally. The Korean imports have none, but the three Brazilian native players do. So in top lane we have Weiser. Weiser, 3.3 KDA, 7.3 CS per minute, and a 60.7 KP. So let's think about this a bit more involved than some top laners at this event. We do have some top laners under 50% KP. And you say to yourself, what does this mean? Well, it means the team is fighting around each other more than other teams at this event. You're going to find that these five fight together in team fights more often. And therefore, Weiser playing weak side, given this number of a 7.3 CS, like he's not really getting as much farm as others. 1.44 damage divided by gold does get a decent amount of damage relative to the gold he receives, which is, 20.5% of the damage, 20.8% of the gold of Pain Gaming. So Pain is giving him about 21% of the gold, and he's dealing 21% of the damage. That works out, right? You have a top laner that can kind of do both things, carry or facilitate depending on what's necessary. 2.57 vision efficiency. That's a new stat I've been using this last split. It's just simply vision score divided by wards placed. How efficient is the vision that a player gets? Are we wasting words, therefore wasting gold, or are we finding something with the words we place? Of course, different champions may cause the vision score to be higher, but this is just a rough look at it. Weiser ahead 200 gold, down 7 CS, 50 XP. That kind of goes to show you that he finds a way to get gold outside of farm, which means probably getting a kill or an assist in the early game. That will make up for the -7 CS he's behind. 5 solo kills in 11 games, played 6 champions, and like I said, no international experience. Carrick in mid, decent player. Has been to an MSI before, has been around the block for a minute, but really hasn't been to international events quite that much. 3.5 KDA, 6.1 CS per minute, and a 73.1 KP, so almost 3 out of every 4 kills. 1.33 return on investment, 16.4% of the damage, about 18% of the gold. That makes sense for a jungler. 4.8 vision efficiency, which makes him the highest player in that stat. He is the most efficient player on the team as far as vision is concerned. Down 90 gold, up 1 CS, 120 XP, so relatively even at 15 minutes. 5 champions in 11 games. We also have to keep in mind this thought of going even domestically. That does not bode well for you if you're going to an international event, because you are stepping up your game, you're against better competition, so you would like to have an advantage over your domestic counterparts. If you're going to go against the LCK or LPL or etc., you do have to have the ability to match, right? And I will say I am happy that it isn't loud this time. I got kind of tired of loud we just knew what they were. And in the end, I really thought that there was no growth to be had there with that team. So at least this one, there's some differences. Carrick, a 2-4 record internationally, had a 1.2 KD8 that event, 5.8 CS per minute, 68.9 KP, but a 0.65 damage divided by gold. That could have been meta dependent at that MSI he was at. Maybe it was very facilitator and supportive oriented, tank meta for jungle, not necessarily what we're seeing now, which is a carry meta for junglers. Don't have the additional stats like I've had in years past, because this past MSI, due to it being in China, we did not get the fun stats that do make us be able to fill this line out with the diffies at 15 minutes, etc. So that is what it is. Mid lane, Dinquedo. Dinquedo, longtime mid laner in CBLOL, considered to be one of the better mid laners probably in the history of CBLOL, I'd reckon. 4.6 KDA, 9.3 CS per minute, 71.4 KP. Makes sense in this meta. Is not giving up a ton of farm. Actually, I mean, he's probably middle of the road in that department at 9.3. We do have some players under 9. Frescowy, for one, of Mad Lions Koi. But 70 KP, this goes to show us, though, continues to show, actually, this team fights around each other. 1.66 return on investment, 26.8% of the damage, and a team leading 23.9% of the gold. Now, the gold split on this team is pretty much like 51-49 if you were to look at like the two carries of mid and AD carry. But not many teams have that sort of split going on. We do see some that have heavy mid lane skew, where there may be a 25% gold share to the mid laner, or bot laner 25%, which is more traditional. However, this team is kind of like back and back and forth in terms of who's getting the gold to make things happen between Dinquedo and Cheeton. 3.32 damage, 3.32 vision score efficiency. He is ahead domestically, over 500 gold, about 452, 7 CS, and 264 XP. Had 1 solo kill, 4 champions in 11 games. That's good to see that he is ahead at 15 minutes. So when he goes internationally, he should not be behind by default. Like I kind of said earlier, if you're even domestically, I'm going to assume that when you play somebody better than who you're playing domestically, you're going to go behind. Unless you rise to the occasion, which could happen. It's just kind of like hedging our bets in that regard. Dinquedo is 5-7 internationally. Good stats though. Does show up internationally. There's no doubt about that. A 3.3 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute, a 56.4 KP, and maybe that's meta dependent. The year he did go to Worlds and MSI, it is possible that it was a meta where mid lane was in a side lane more often than being involved in team fights. 8.5 CS per minute, like I said, 1.31 damage divided by gold. Worlds 2018 was his only Worlds appearance, and he did not get out of play-ins. 80 carry Cheeton, 4.5 KDA, 9.2 CS per minute, and a team leading 78.7 KP. That is not common, to have your 80 carry be the team leader in KP. But it goes to just further cement and confirm that this team fights around each other because they're fighting around their 80 carry and trying to get their 80 carry ahead. Now, he doesn't end up getting ahead in gold because otherwise he'd have a higher gold share. But he is very involved. In terms of kills, he has his fingerprints on nearly 4 out of every 5, which, like I said, is probably the highest amongst the 80 carries at the tournament. 1.84 damage divided by gold. That makes sense. If he's involved in all the kills, then he's going to deal the most damage. 29.5% of the team's damage, 23.8% of the gold. 2.55 vision score divided by wards. Ahead slightly, 137 gold, 2 CS, 241 XP. I am going to combine that with Curry, and then we'll get a better picture of how the bot 2v2 operates. 1 solo kill, 6 champions, 11 games. Internationally, he's 10-17. 2 KDA, 62.7 KP, 8.9 CS per minute, and a 1.25 return on investment. Cheeton had some moments at MSI 2022 with Red Canids. His Worlds appearances 2018 and 21 out in play-ins. But like I said, MSI was when I saw him play, and I thought he did okay. Red had some moments, and he did as well. How he does here remains to be seen. I mean, like I said, I do have a little bit more. I don't know what it's not like hope is not the word, but I'm more interested in what this team can offer than the loud squad we've seen the last few tournaments. That I just felt like, okay, we know what this team is, and everybody else does as well. So let's just kind of get on with it. Curry at support, Korean import 2 and 4. 2.4 KDA, a 74.8 KP, so 3 out of every 4 kills. 0.75 damage divided by gold. You're probably going to say, what does it matter? Why is the support damage divided by gold being cited? Supports don't necessarily deal damage. Normally, no. When we think of support, we don't think of damage. But there are supports at this event that do deal damage. They deal damage per gold pound for pound, and there are some that are down towards 0.6 or so. So this is in the middle of the road at 0.74, but there are supports that are more aggressive and are going to deal damage. So it's just something to think about if you don't watch other regions, that at this event there are going to be supports that are more aggressive than what you're used to seeing. 1.73 vision score divided by wards placed. Makes sense. Supports put down a lot of wards, and a lot of them are useless. 148 gold ahead. So on average, this team's up about 285 gold in the bot lane 2v2, 2 CS, and 271 XP. So slightly ahead. The thing is, at this event, actually, let's just finish this up. 4 champions in 11 games. Now that's done. He has no international experience. So the thing with this event is, in my opinion, the third seed in the LEC and LCS both are susceptible to being kicked out in play-ins. I do honestly believe that 100 Thieves have massive weaknesses in the bot lane, and then Mad Lions Koi have a gaping hole in mid lane, and Frescowi. Now, that opens the door for upsets. It opens the door for, well, I guess it's not an upset because I'm already saying it's a possibility, and it wouldn't shock me. But that there's a possibility for minor region teams to get out at this tournament. Now, so you have the PCS, you have PSG, and you have SoftBank Hawks Gaming, so Japan. Historically, Japan and Brazil have been pound for pound pretty equal. So that's a thing. So, I mean, theoretically, they could compete with them. Now, Vietnam, GAM are a very good team. I understand Loud have played well into GAM in the past. I still think GAM are very good, but they're susceptible as well. I think, top side they're super strong, but mid and bot lane are going to be question marks for them. And then we have Vikings Esports, and I don't hide that I think Shogun is like super good at the game. Like, I think Shogun should be in a major region. So that's a thing. Like, I could see, like, in Viking Esports there's a lot of inexperience in other roles in the top side, but KD's been around the block with GAM. So it's like the mid 80 carry roles for Vikings are going to be interesting. And that's going to, all these teams have weaknesses is what I'm trying to say. PSG are definitely, I would almost guarantee they're getting out because they're a clean team. But like Vikings, top side weak. GAM, mid, and 80 carry, and bot side kind of weak. SoftBank Hawks Gaming. Bot lane, I think, is pretty weak. I think that they're going to be struggling in that regard. So, and Vikings, it's topside. So, there's holes on these teams. And that's not to say CBLOL and Pain Gaming don't have holes on their team, because they do. It just means that there was an opportunity there where in years past, like last year, I don't really think there was much of an opportunity. Team Wales was really good going into it, and so were the PCS squad. So, that's the thing. With this new format, I think there's a possibility. Wouldn't write it off completely. Coach is Zero. Zero has 0 international experience as a player or a coach, which is a thing as well. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.